What's going on, world? I got a special guest right here on the other side of the screen, man. Please introduce yourself. Let us know who you are.
Good morning, everybody. My name is PB, as my family calls me.
PB. How the name PB come about?
Well, one time, I was speaking to Dre. We had a little consultation, and he had difficulties pronouncing my name. So he was like, "Hey, man, can I just call you PB, just so
Yeah,
the conversation can flow more smoothly?" So and I said, "Dang, that's no problem with me, man. If the conversation is the most important thing, the message is the most important thing. PB is just what it
right.
is." And I just continued to introduce myself as that because I didn't not too interested in the whole back and forth of how do I say your name type of situation. So
Yeah, yeah. It's always good to have a nickname too, because it stick. Like PB. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, we can remember PB. So
PB.
man, take us through there, man. What was the upbringing like for PB?
So man, the upbringing for me, I would say is like the weirdest situation that I could ever um just imagine or think about. Uh you know w- when I say weird, I mean like when you see something on TV, like you see your cartoon character or something like that on TV, or you see like a movie on TV, you see the picture ideal reference of what growing up would be like for the average person. You got your mom and you got your dad, you may have a brother or your sister. But for me it wasn't like that. For
Mhm.
me it was uh being in a situation where my mother was a illegal immigrant at one point, and coming to America, she needed a green card. So she was in a situation where she didn't have a green card, and she couldn't have a green card until she got pregnant with me, because I guess United States had this thing where if you're in a illegal immigrant but you gave birth to a child in America, you
Yeah.
they gave you papers, so
Hmm.
to raise that kid or whatever. So that was my situation. And she wasn't with my biological father. She was with my sister's father, you know. So I grew up in uh, uh I wouldn't say, it was just a situation where I knew that the man that I was living with wasn't my dad, but I
Hmm.
also knew that my dad was somewhere else. And at the same time, I was living with multiple families throughout the situation. So I knew I had a mom and I knew I had a dad, but I was always living with different families, you know, kind of like a foster situation. You know, um, I lived with like 7, 8 different families. The first family I lived with, they taught me Spanish. Spanish was my first language. Um, Lived with another Mexican family, moved with another Mexican family, lived with the Puerto Rican family, lived with another family, lived with my mom too, and my sister's dad, lived with a Jewish lady, um, more than once, you know. Uh, Funny thing, just uh just to mention, as a matter of fact, I remember I was at Costco one time not too long ago, and this Hispanic family came up to me when I was in the line getting pizza, and they were like, "Do you remember us?" And I'm looking at this people, I'm like, "Remember you? What you mean? Am
Yeah.
I supposed to remember you?" And then they looked at me as if they seen their lost son or something like that. They were like, "We raised
Mm.
you. You lived with us." So that's how much I was like moving around, and that's how
Yeah.
much my mind was paying attention of to what I should keep and what I should discard as just like, okay, what's not necessary and what's necessary, and that was the uh one of the weird aspects about myself growing up. It was just seeing everybody have families, knowing I have a mother and a father, but
Yeah.
that not being what I could like stand on as a foundation, you know.
So can you go into a little bit more? You said some of the things you should keep and some of the things you should discard. What do you mean by that?
So I knew at a young age um that there was there were things that I had to know, that I had to
Yeah.
keep in order to survive, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember when I met my biological father, he was a lot different than my sister's father. You know, my
Mm.
sister's father was a very violent man. He was very volatile. He relied on violence. You know, he didn't really like me too much. Um, I remember he would starve me. He would lock me in the garage. Uh, uh, there would be times where he would just wake me up late at night and he would tell me, "Hey, go sit down there in the corner, and if you fall asleep, I'm gonna beat you." And I would just be sitting Indian style and forcing myself not to nod off because I
Yeah.
would just, receive whatever he was gonna give me. Um, and but my biological father, when I met him, he was an educated man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he didn't rely on violence. He had his doctorate degrees. He had what, the world says is success, in a man, what people should reach for, the money, the house, the cars. He lived in a neighborhood with celebrities,
Right.
around him, and it was just two completely different worlds. But there was something about him when I met him that I knew I couldn't rely on, man. And I just hated it. This one thing. And I knew if I stayed around him, I would inherit that weakness and it would ultimately kill me. So every time I would go see him periodically, and funny fact, it was the Jewish lady that I was living with who recommended that I meet him. If
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't for her, I would have never known him. And I would
Mm.
ask her, I was like, "Man, why do you want me to go meet this man? Why do you want me to go meet him?" She was like, "One day you'll thank me." She was right. Um, so every time I went to go see him, he would be like, how come your mother doesn't want to be with me, and how come your mother doesn't want to marry me? I'm looking at him like, dude, she got a whole nother child,
Yeah.
bruh.
Right.
She's got a whole nother child, and you worried about this woman about why she don't want to be with you, and she got a whole nother man, and she ain't thinking about you.
Yeah.
I'm already like 3, 4 years old, and the only thing you could worry about is my mother. You looking right past me, and you worried about my mother. I said, bruh, if I ever turn out to be like you, I'm dead. To ever find
Mm-hmm.
myself in a position thinking about somebody that don't care about me. My mama already don't want me. Now I'm sitting next to you, and all you can think about is the woman that don't want me.
Yeah.
I'm cool. So
Mm-hmm.
I knew there were certain things I had to learn that I couldn't learn from my mother and my father or the people around me in my immediate environment. How to care about myself, how to love myself, how to, you know, appreciate what God, and I say God specifically, how to
Mm-hmm.
appreciate what God has blessed me with in order to carry me on to the next step. How
Right.
to appreciate myself in situations where I'm around other people, how to, ultimately see what I gotta maintain in order to sustain victory. Because my mama and my sister's daddy, they was living in the hood in the ghetto area, right? In Long Beach.
Mm-hmm.
My biological father was in, the rich neighborhood in Los Angeles, right? So those two different environments, and I got to learn how to speak two different languages. I got to learn how to navigate through the hood where people asking where you from, and then in his environment, I have to know things about art, you know.
Yeah.
I gotta know things about literature. I gotta know things about science. I gotta know things about history. I gotta know things about Shakespeare. I gotta know things just the smallest details of what anything could be. I gotta know what real leather look like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, for real.
I gotta
Yeah,
know what's a marble floor. You know, that's a marble floor looking like praline. You know,
yeah.
things like just chandeliers and things like that. You know, just the weirdest things. You know, and I'm
Mhm.
just like, what do I keep and what do I discard, man? Because one side, money is, there on my dad's side, money and education is the most important thing, and my mom's side, it's how good you can lie in order to get some money is
Mhm.
the main thing. So I'm just like in this between space. What do I keep and what do I discard, man?
Right. Yeah, that was a good. So now when you look back on it, so how would you able to rise above that? What made you want to go seek out to be like, okay, both of these is kind of like I can understand this side and understand this side, but I need to rise above this. So what information did you have to get to do that?
Sheesh. Okay. So it all goes back to me knowing that I was in just a weird situation, right?
Yeah.
So when I met my father, I knew that money wasn't everything immediately
Hmm.
because me knowing my mother, my biological mother, I was like, man, I could see why he's tripping off of this woman because she's a pretty woman. My
Yeah.
my mother, she's I thought, to me at least, I thought she was the most beautiful woman, right?
Hmm.
So I'm like, I'm not surprised, man. You tripping over this beautiful woman that's loving and having babies with this other dude that could care less about you, you know? Um, and I knew how I was being treated on both sides. You know, I was being mistreated. I was treated unfairly on one side, and on the other side, it was like I didn't exist. It
Hmm.
was just like, so ultimately I was like, okay, I need to know what I need to keep in order to be a man. And I had that desire in me from a young age. I remember from like kindergarten or preschool, as far as I can know myself, I was just like, I want to be a man, you know?
Hmm.
I want to be a man that can solve all these problems that I see everybody doing things that I fantasize about doing better than and the opposite than, because this can't be it.
Hmm.
Having shouting matches and screaming matches, seeing my sister's daddy do all that stuff to my mama and just treating me the way he was treating me, I was like, that ain't no man. And then seeing my biological father, him having all this money and success and tripping about my mama, I'm like, that ain't success either. that
Right. Yeah.
that ain't it. So I kept that desire in me secret. So that's ultimately, you know, what I had to keep and maintain an integrity of up until God allowed me to reach a point where I can get someone to refine these things about manhood in me, which is where we are today.
Hmm. In the remnant, so to speak. So when you look back on your
Yes.
life, because I love in a remnant, they always talking about, what are you being developed to do, to be?
Mm.
So when you look back at your life, the different diverse background, you had to go into this environment. In this environment, you had to know, you had to know the arts and things like that. And then this environment, you had to rely more so on your instincts, people coming up and pressing you. So when you look back through the information, well, through the lens of the information, where could you see PB on his way to becoming a remnant?
So what I'm getting from that question is, where can I see my old self becoming a remnant?
Yeah. Or like what was that? So what is the so when you're looking back on it now, looking back on the past, where's the empowerment? Like where's PB at today to be like, okay, I had to go through this for this. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah. Um, it was my attitude. It was my good attitude. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's it. Simple as that. I didn't have nothing else but a good attitude. I was in a bunch of situations where I was relying on personal judgment. I was relying on
Mm-hmm.
the fantasy about what a man, about what I desired myself to experience as a man and how I saw myself. So I was always imagining myself in capacities where I had to produce what I desired
Mm-hmm.
in a man in me. And it was my good attitude because I remember situations where I remember see friends have when I was in middle school and high school, I would see cats, they would have girlfriends, pretty girlfriends. I was never that guy. I would see
Mm-hmm.
them having a little trap, a little hustle, whatever, having a little shorty, a little cutie here, and they doing whatever they doing to come up with something. And whatever they was doing to have it, I wasn't going to participate in that, to have something like that. Now,
Right.
in addition to that, I never hated anybody that looked like me for having something.
Mm-hmm.
Never in my life. I was in a situation where I seen this weird old lame dude have a pretty beautiful woman like my mama, and then I seen dudes who had a bunch of, about money that people can dream about, and I didn't hate either one of them dudes. Both of them dudes was
Mm-hmm.
my daddy. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
Yeah, how could I hate you, man? I'm trying to figure out the best way for me to have something. If you have the ability to teach me and refine me into something to where I can produce something, then I'm gonna, appreciate that. So all I had was a good attitude because the people around me, they wasn't trying to, they were in competition with me, you know?
Right.
So they wasn't gonna allow me to be in a situation where I can have something that they was trying to jockey for, some success, whether it be in sports, whether it be academic wise, financially, romantically, and a love interest. They was trying to jockey and set up situations to where they can have some outcomes and some ends.
Mm-hmm.
So all I had was a good attitude because I really didn't know how to be a good liar.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All I knew is, hey man, my name is PB, da 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 da, whoop de whoop. I'm passing through, and it's a lot of people that I thought were friends ultimately showed themselves to really not be that when it came down
Mm-hmm.
to it. So I couldn't really be sad about it. I was just like, I know who I am. It sucks that you missed out on someone like me. You
Yeah.
may never know someone like me ever. The Most High just allowed me to just pass through that situation and not adopt whatever it is that you guys was trying to infiltrate into somebody, you know. Um, but it was the good attitude. It's the good attitude. That's all I had was a good attitude and that desire. That's how potent that desire that I had. I'm sorry, there's a little fruit fly around here somewhere. I was eating some a couple
Oh no,
days
you good.
ago, and yeah, but there was a that's how potent that desire that I had in me. That's all I knew I had, you know, and that's how potent that war was in me too. I had the good attitude, but I knew there were some things that I could not participate in order to keep this virtue in me intact. If that makes
Mm-hmm.
any sense.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like you went to war with the good attitude, or you used the good attitude as a weapon to go against your environment.
Yeah, correct. It's kind of like I don't know if anybody out there has ever played sports, if you play
Yeah.
basketball and you play football, but if you play football or something like that and you let's say for example, let's say one of my teammates, is a wide receiver, right? or let's say we playing defense. I'm on a defensive side, and the other team is on offense, but my teammate happens to intercept the ball, right? So now we on offense, and I'm blocking him, and I'm protecting him, right? So the opposing team comes behind me and pushes me from the back and clips me.
Right,
You know
right.
what I'm saying? They playing dirty, but I can't play
Hmm.
dirty back. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because I'm in front of the crowd. I'm in front of the world.
Hmm.
And that's how it is. You know, somebody's gonna be watching, and I gotta maintain this in me even when nobody is watching, and that's how I have to go to war with it.
Yeah,
Even though I
that's a
didn't
good
have no
breakdown on that.
outcomes like everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. And that's good that it still works in your favor, even, you not operating the way they operate. You know what I'm saying? It's always gonna work in your favor. So I want to
Yeah,
ask too, man, because okay, what you gonna say?
Oh no, no, go ahead. That's my bad.
Oh no, you good. So just for like the whole so with the information, right? So when you okay, so why is it a necessity? Like what are you using within the information to like I know you use like the good attitude and stuff like that. Is there any other things that you're using that a person going through with the background that you had that the information can use to make that their environment more empowering? You see what I'm saying?
So what I'm hearing from that question is there anything specific to the information that I've developed in and learning as a remnant that someone can use where I was maybe once at before that can help them where they're at now?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Okay. Um, see, that's an interesting question, and I'm glad that you asked that because I know now how the Most High moves and how the Most High works.
Hmm.
It may be a situation where someone like me might not make it. There's a real possibility that you may not make it. There
Hmm.
are going to be some situations and some circumstances where you might just end up just being a memory of somebody that once was alive somewhere. That's the truth
Hmm.
because that's how real it was. It wasn't it wasn't just oh man, somebody being unfair to me. No, it was real dangerous situations, and a good attitude. And that's it, man. That's what I had. Some faith.
Right. Hmm.
Faith in that good attitude. I could not have done anything. I had no power. It wasn't my strength, is what I mean. It wasn't my strength that got me here to the remnant. It was the Most High that allowed me to come to the remnant. It wasn't my
Hmm.
strength. I couldn't have done it because there were some things where I was just like, man, I just, should I do this, man? Should I do, this is tough.
Yeah.
I had the moments where it was just like, bruh, today I just don't really want to care.
Hmm.
You know, there are going to be them days. And it wasn't my strength that allowed me to get here to the remnant. It was the Most High allowing me to just have a breath, the breath of life to take. It was the Most High. It was the Most High about me that allowed me to get here. It wasn't my strength that got here. I couldn't be strong enough to get here. It was the Most
Right.
High. That's how real the Most High is. It was never my strength. I still don't have the strength to do the things that the Most High will, you know, intervene for. That's not my strength, man. I don't got it in me. It's the Most High.
Hmm.
Whatever anybody notices about me, if you see me having a good attitude, that ain't me, man. That's the Most High seeing about me. And then I
Yeah.
smiled.
So what is PB's routine for you to keep that good attitude?
So my routine is I like the way you worded that too, because the secular world, this materialistic,
Yeah.
ABC 1, 2, 3 world will
Right.
sell us that we need a routine, you know,
Yeah.
that we need to have a daily routine, that we need to get up in the morning and wake up out of a bed and get into our car and go to the gym. And there have been some situations where I didn't have a bed. There's been some situations where I woke up on the floor. There's been some situations where I didn't have no place to go. There's been some situations where I woke up in a jail cell.
Hmm.
How can I
Life
tell
get
you that
real.
there was any one routine?
Right, right, right. But you got to be ready for whatever, though. You know what I mean?
We ready for whatever. How can I
You
tell
just
you
got to
that
be
there
ready
was
for
one
whatever, man.
routine, man?
Yeah.
The most, yeah, it's the faith. It's that thing that won't ever change. That's for me personally, because uh shoot, man, when I ain't got no money, I ain't got no friends, I ain't got nobody giving me no hug, nobody telling me they love me, you know, but it's the most high that give me that breath of life,
Hmm.
and that's the thing, that it's not a metaphysical, metaphorical, analogy, or just this thing in literature in the book. It's a tangible thing.
Yeah.
It's a real thing, and it's something that I don't have the vocabulary to express. I could just give you things that I've went through, circumstances and situations that I've, had to use this thing in order to come out on the other side, being able to talk to you today. I could give you that,
Right.
but to give you a whole lifetime of me going to war just about this, breath of life, I can't really sell it. I can't give it to you, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but uh it's the it's the accumulation of that good attitude. It's the faith. You know, and sooner or later, because you can have a good attitude. And here's something else that I learned, because I don't have a phenomenal scriptural knowledge. I've never opened the Bible once. That may separate
Hmm.
me from everybody in my family as a remnant. I've never cracked open the Bible once. Never.
Hmm.
Um, but I have seen some things about the Bible. Like on the Discovery Channel, they have those adaptations about
Yeah.
like biblical things, and they have like reenactments and things like that. So I
Hmm.
would see them things, because if they talking about stories in the Bible, the only thing different is these people is white and the actual people in the Bible is looking like me. And it
Yeah.
may not be word for word, but the concept of whatever it is, and they're as best as they could understand it, they try to put it on film. So I've seen things like that, like the movie The Ten Commandments and things like that, talking about Moses and stuff like that. So I've seen those type of things. So that's the as best as my knowledge about the Bible as I could give you.
Hmm.
Um,
Right.
but I would just see similarities. I'm like, man, if God was real back then, He sure is real today. And if a certain thing is kind of similar to a situation, I would remember those things where somebody had to, really bet on the Most High being real.
Hmm.
And I know it wasn't gonna happen like how in them fake movies and stuff like that, and I know, God, He didn't really have to look at me for any reason, because I'm pretty sure it's a lot of people trying to be after Him. I know
Yeah.
there's real people in the church that are really trying to find Him. You know, I know this some people that could be way better at everything that I'm doing. Maybe God might be attracted to them a little bit more. You know,
Hmm.
it's not up to me to know, but for some reason, man, when He saw me, He was like, as how Dre says it, when when he first seen that beautiful girl in Seattle, he said, "Pull it over." That's how the Most High
Right,
said
right.
about me, man. Pull it over.
Yeah.
That's PV right there.
Hmm. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
powerful, man. Because I mean, faith is the number one thing that's gonna get you closer to the Most High. It's the belief, it's the faith, and as we teach, most importantly, is the submission and obedience, which may
Mm,
separate the real world, us in real life, compared to those people that they're seeing the depiction of, the making. They have to project the image, because they still working just as
mm.
hard as we working. You see what I'm saying? But they don't understand when they're talking about these people or the scriptures, and the biggest thing we talk about is time. They're not aware, first of all, of what makes God come into a person's life and what makes him back out. Faith is one, but everybody can have faith. But do you got submission and obedience? And that's what makes the remnant so powerful. You know. So the fact that, you
Sheesh.
know, that's what got me, because it's been times, I used to love the movie Prince of Egypt. Remember, like they did a one on Disney Channel.
Yeah,
And man, I
yeah, I
used to
remember
watch
that
that
one. I
all
seen
the
that one.
time with Moses. I'm like, man, but I can't take away. I mean, it was pretty accurate, but that's one of my. I probably say that's still one of my favorite movies. I mean, the songs was good, everything. But man, I used to watch that, man. Like, man, why is God moving for him the way that he moving? Why is he splitting the Red Sea? Like, man, this can't be real. People gonna look at that and be like, man, that ain't it.
No,
But
but it
I,
is.
I don't, but it is though. You know what I'm saying, to us. You know what I'm saying. So it's like, the fact that and that's what the why I read the scriptures, because when you read it and you can actually get the raw truth that they're pulling out from. They're not just coming up with this. They have to, okay, we have to sell Moses. They're looking at it from a selling standpoint. I'm looking at it through culture. You see what I'm saying? So now I'm getting into like
Wow.
the little details of how Moses is moving, and you can only get that from the scripture when God is speaking, and he like, okay, well, you got to do this for me to move like this for you. You see what I'm saying?
True. Yeah.
Had to have a little Tuesday church session. But it's all good, man, because that's what we talking about. I just want to know, like, this is just our daily conversation. And it's just about
True.
God in particular. You know what I'm saying? So
True.
yeah, that's powerful for you, brother.
Can I just say, Elijah, one thing? Whoever sees this, what you just said right there, it differentiates what our culture is as a remnant from
Yeah.
what everybody has, like how you say they commodify and they sell, you know,
Mm-hmm.
people in our culture, our ancestors to be. They
Right.
commodify our ancestors and they sell this package, this illusion of what God is, you know. But what you
Mm-hmm.
just said opens up the world to, you know, who someone is on the inside, or who they really, you know.
Yeah.
The obedience and submission, what makes or breaks obedience and submission, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I just appreciate you. I've been seeing you. You've been I remember when I first met you in Las Vegas, you know, I I only knew so much. I could only take in so much of the experience because a lot was happening all around me.
Mm-hmm.
But, you and your brother and your father were so observant and so accommodating of everybody. It was like you guys was hosting the retreat yourself. And I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
the bigness of you guys. And I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate you guys, you and your family. And it really is an honor to grow with you, and to be, as a brother with you. Thank you so much for giving me this
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, no problem, man. And I also want to add in too, like, um, I had a thing I had posted like a little clip, and they were talking about godly ambition. Because I just love the word ambition. But then he had to take it up a higher. He was like, man, what about godly ambition? Like, what is that? And it's a drive. Everything that I am is for the benefit of humanity. Like I kind of like zoom myself as like God, the way he moves, like he does everything for his creation or everything that's before him. So it's the same thing for me. How I look at everything. It's like Um, yeah, using my time, using I got to go extra hard to, read through these scriptures because it's yokes we got to break.
True.
And then on top of that, being an inspiration for each other. We got to keep inspiring each other. So when I'm able to get on these calls with PB and just see where PB is, where he's at, and okay, this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm using information, man, that's inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
People need to hear that because they sell us, man, life is hard, man. Oh, it's Ooh, you gotta, which I mean, there's some test that comes, but like you said the best, man, a good attitude. A good attitude. And you don't even know, you just took it a step further. A good because they talk about faith, but behind that is the good attitude. That's the only clear evidence of faith. And the fact that you can break that down and say that, that's the part that people, they just got faith. But they got a a sad faith with the faith. Like how you got faith and you walking around, but I'm just trying to make it, and it's like, but you got faith. That's how faith looks. That's the most powerful thing God gave us. The reason why I can't even see tomorrow, and you gotta, you walking around like whatever. Like faith is just whatever. So I'm glad you illuminated that. And I think out of everybody I talked to, PB illuminated that. You see what I'm saying? So that's powerful from your experience,
Yeah.
brother.
Thank you.
Anything else my brother would
Appreciate
like
you.
to add, man? Yeah, no problem.
Um, I would just like to say, since we're here and we're having this conversation, I would like to thank, our family. I would like to thank you. I would like to thank your brother. I would like to thank your father. I would like to thank our brothers, our sisters, our aunties, our uncles, Dre, Dove, D. And the reason why I'm saying this is because this is not something that is an ordinary thing. We just had a conversation as a family the other day about something that's extraordinary. This is extraordinary. You
Mm-hmm.
know, the connection that we have, the relationships that we have established together as a family. Um, this is extraordinary. This is miraculous. If I could tell myself, if I could see myself as a 5-year old now in front of my face right now, with you right next to me, like, man, PB, one day you're going to have everything you need in order to confirm yourself a man.
Mm-hmm.
Sheesh, man, you know how crazy powerful I would be. Like, what do you mean? Are you serious?
Yeah.
I'm going to know other people that desire this integrity too. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
man. I would probably have tears. What kind of man,
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about how tall I'm going to be. I'm not going to worry about how I'm going to look. All I know is everything that I desire in my heart is just going to come true.
Mm-hmm. And
And
it has
everything
come
after the
true.
fact. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
right here. Don't you like you talked about the desire for man. I got the same thing. PB got the
You
desire to
know?
have a good attitude. I got the same thing. And we a call
For
away,
real,
brother.
for real.
You know what I'm saying?
And I just want to say, just giving that credit, that credit to Dre and to Dove and to D and your dad and to our uncles and our aunties and you know, um, our family that have substantiated themselves and have stood and, withstand and conquered and would continue to do more than conquering. This system praises, the things of the world, left and right, front, back, inside and out, man, in every single way. And they celebrate people that have done just the greatest crimes in the history of mankind that anybody could ever do. And we got
Right.
some people in our family that have introduced honesty, integrity, principle, character, virtue,
Mm-hmm.
and continue to do that. And I love being able to, just give that knowing that this is where I got it from. I got it from my
Mm-hmm.
family, man. You want to know what makes me this? Yeah, I got a good attitude, but I was refined by my brothers and my sisters and my uncles and my aunties. I was refined by Dre, by Dove, by D. You know, I was
Hmm.
this right here. That credit goes to them. All praises to the Most High, but trust and believe. This is where I got it from. If you want to go get it, find yourself in our class. Yeah,
Conversations.
right.
So, give the people what they need, man, because they're gonna need to hear from PB. They can't just hear it all from, this is all of our works.
Believe that.
So yeah, so man, it was definitely an honor to be on this, had this conversation with you, brother. My brother PB, man.
Yes, sir, my brother Elijah, man. I love you.
Well, you too, man. I'm gonna definitely get back with you.
All right, one.
One, yeah.